On the shores of Lake Michigan, America's most famous and unique train departs from the Chicago station.
Nous, on va prendre le California Zephyr et en 52 heures, on va à San Francisco. 52 heures. Tu es prêt à partir à 52 heures? 2 jours et demi.
Every day at 2 p.m., the California Zephyr sets off on a 4,000-kilometer journey to reach the shores of the Pacific.
Hello. C'est le lounge du California Zephyr. Ça ressemble à un lounge d'aéroport.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to be boarding train number 5. Train number 5 is the California Zephyr.
Hello, Janelle.
How you doing?
So you're going to be the attendant?
Lieutenant, yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
On this level, straight back, and then you're going to go to your right side.
Thank you so much.
The 2-day trip costs almost 900 euros per person.
While you're down here, all the way at the end, left side 2 bathrooms, right side a bathroom and a shower, towels, laundry bag, everything's in that shower. Make sure you get a good picture of that. Let me go through your room.
No problem.
Between 8 and 10, we bring your beds down.
So we can't do them
You're
ourselves?
supposed to let your attendant do your bed. That's why you're on here, for your vacation. Okay, your white button is gonna be for these lights up here.
Okay.
Okay, from here, you have your closet, towels, hangers. Over here, reading lamp.
Yes.
Heat control, he's alongside the window here. Outlet plug, anything. Okay, thank you.
From Chicago to San Francisco, the train crosses 7 states in 2.5 days, passing by some of the most iconic scenery in the great American West. Owned by Amtrak, the California Zephyr has 18 carriages with sleeping compartments, a dining car, and its special feature is this panoramic carriage to enjoy the scenery. The train moves at an average speed of 65 kilometers per hour. Originally from Texas, this couple with their 2 children is traveling as far as Salt Lake City in Utah.
It's nice, it's enjoyable for the kids. We can get up and walk around, and it's a good way to see the country because I don't have to drive. I like that. It's going at nighttime too, so you don't have to worry about that. So when you're sleeping, they're still moving. So
I like trick.
All right, boats crossing over the Mississippi River Bridge, leaving the state of Illinois, entering the state of Iowa. Just on the other side of this bridge, our next station stop.
For over 48 hours, the Zephyr's passengers are cut off from the outside world. Along the way, the train crosses no less than 3 different time zones. As the first night of the voyage falls, the train approaches the Nebraska border. On board, Janelle is preparing the bunks for around 20 passengers, including us.
So he won't fall out. I think he has his pillow. All right. This is my hotel. When you leave out, I want you to say, I had a really nice time in Janelle's hotel, car 532. And spread the word.
Tomorrow, the most beautiful landscapes in the United States will flash before our eyes. Long neglected in favor of planes and cars, trains are now getting their comeback in the United States. A comeback based on nostalgia and the vision to slow down and go green. For 36 years, this man took the train every day to get from his home state of Delaware to Washington, earning him the nickname of Amtrak Joe. President Joe Biden has big ambitions. He wants to allocate almost 70 billion euros into improving the rail network. In doing so, the United States could reconnect with its origins. Trains have shaped and unified this immense country. They are a part of the great American story and a heritage that has been well preserved.
Whenever we come across a flag stop, the engineer will blow one long blast of the whistle. If the answer is stop, we'll give a stop signal.
The locomotive is over 100 years old. The Durango Silverton is a time machine, and it is the only way to discover some of Colorado's most spectacular scenery. Tourists come from all over the world to soak in the Western atmosphere.
Ah, ce train, il est exceptionnel. Je suis loin d'être déçu. C'est une expérience unique.
In the West, as in Chicago, where 30 million passengers pass through every year, the train is the best representation of the United States.
We don't drive, so we have to find different ways to travel.
If you want to see what America looks like, come to Chicago and ride our trains.
On our journey, we'll be accompanying George Graham, a 65-year-old vagabond. In other words, a train hopper. It is an American tradition dating back to the 1930s.
So first time on a freight train for you, probably, huh?
Riding a freight train is not an easy thing, but there's an excitement, there's an adrenaline level, and I'm free.
We'll also board one of the most spectacular trains in the world, the Manitou Cog climbing the Rockies.
Oh, it's not even steep yet. Wait for it.
Oh, it's air, just in case if I can't breathe.
The cogwheel train takes us to an altitude of over 4,300 meters, offering a journey through a lunar-like landscape. Trains in the United States are also the passion of millionaires, owners of luxury carriages that cross America.
And now we go to the Master Suite. The piece de resistance. We have 17th century paintings here. It's truly a master suite. My favorite place is right here. I like to sit here, I look out both sides, and you see America go by.
From one end of the country to the other, the railroad may be the most unique way to discover or rediscover the United States. A journey at a leisurely pace. Our journey on America's railroads begins with a touch of nostalgia at the foot of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. The starting point is a small town of Durango, built at the time of the conquest of the West. Today, its 22,000 inhabitants make their living from Far West culture. Everywhere there are vestiges of the era, starting with the railway station.
All right, sounds good. Guys, don't have anything else to go out there. Let's be safe today, all right?
One of the team members dressed in 19th century costume is young Kyla. She is both a mechanic and a train conductor. She's been working here for 6 years. Every morning, she takes care of her old iron friend.
It's pretty loud up here. We just oil all the... We oil a lot of the moving parts of the engine. We do it in the morning with a full inspection of the engine, and then a couple spots along the way we'll do it as well, just to make sure that everything's well lubricated for the trip.
And how old is this locomotive?
Old.
This one's 100 years old next month. And we use them just like the day they were new.
You ready, Ryan? We're gonna go out to the train now.
Kyla's locomotive weighs over 50 tons. The engine still runs on steam. The only modern touch is that fuel oil has replaced coal to power the machine. Kyla will be pulling around 15 carriages. On board are tourists who are about to discover the wonders of Colorado. It's a journey through time that never ceases to amaze Kyla.
What do you like in it, like?
Honestly, all of it. I like that we get to go up in the wilderness. I like we get to preserve this history and keep it moving and teach people about it. There's not a lot about it that I don't like.
The history of this train goes back to the times of the gold rush. Originally, it carried nuggets extracted from the region's mines. Today, it transports 150,000 passengers a year. 70 kilometers of tracks connect Durango to the small town of Silverton. It's a 3.5-hour journey at an average speed of 25 kilometers an hour. Not very fast, but it's not an easy task for the conductors.
It's always constant. You're always looking at something. Right now, even when I've been talking to you, I've been checking my pressure, I've been checking my water, and I've been checking everything out of the corner of my sunglasses. So, never nothing.
Why do you take always in front, kinda?
We have a speed limit, and since we don't have speedometers, you use the movement of the running gear to gauge your speed, so I'm always just looking at it.
Leaving Durango, the train first passes through the immense forest of the San Juan Mountains. This is the gateway to one of the most spectacular areas in the United States. The Animas River Canyon is only accessible by this train.
If you're too scared to look down on the right side, maybe you guys want to point your cameras forward, slightly downward. You get a really great shot of the river cutting through the canyon. This section we're going over, the High Line, took approximately 3 months to be constructed. When they were constructing this section, General Palmer, the guy that started this Silverton line, strongly urged no one to take photos or release information about how this section was being constructed. He was afraid that if such information was leaked or exposed to the general public, his investors were going to pull out. It is said to have cost over $100,000 per mile. I think today that's like $2.5 billion.
Toby has been working as a guide on this train for 10 years.
There it is. Okay, you guys can see the river down below. Oh. Are you guys doing okay over here?
Toby also provides service for passengers who have paid, on average, $75 for their ticket.
Soft drinks is included in the bill, in the ticket. Alcoholic beverages, wine, beer, all that stuff, that's separate. You gotta pay for that. Je suis désolé, not included. This one's for you and for you, madame, and je vous en prie, enjoy.
Is it your first time on the train?
No, I make sure I ride the train once a year, and I've been doing it since the 70s.
Why is something so special? What's so special about it?
It's just iconic. There's nowhere in the world you can see this kind of scenery, this beauty, the Animas River. It's just peaceful, enjoying, we love it.
Against an amazing backdrop, the Durango-Silverton train emerges from the canyon of the Animas River. Along the way, the train employees are constantly on the lookout.
Whenever we come across a flag stop, the engineer will blow one long blast of the whistle. That means he's asking, are we gonna go or are we gonna stop? If the answer is go, eyeball. If the answer is stop, we'll give a stop signal. What's your name? My name is Michael.
Michael is only 19, but he's living in a completely different era.
I don't like electronics. I don't have social media. My cell phone, I rarely use it. So in many ways, when I wake up in the morning, it could easily very much so be 100 years ago, 1923.
The Durango-Silverton journey, a trip back in time that tourists from all over the world love. Like this Parisian family.
Ils sont immergés, ils ont les pistolets, ils tirent. On adore les États-Unis. Donc on vient en vacances, faire des road trips un peu plus, on reste assez longtemps.
Et alors ce train,
ah, ce train, il est exceptionnel. Je suis loin d'être déçu. C'est une expérience unique. Là aussi, tu vois, la force des États-Unis, c'est qu'on est tous un peu captivés par les États-Unis parce qu'on voit leurs films. Donc quand on se retrouve dans un décor comme Durango, par exemple, on a tout de suite des films qui nous viennent à l'esprit. On se dit, tiens, j'ai vu un film, on a l'impression que c'était tourné ici, etc. C'est pareil un peu dans toutes les villes américaines. Et ça, c'est un plus pour le touriste aussi.
After 3.5 hours of travel, the adventure comes to an end. The train arrives at Silverton, a town that lives up to its name. It was built at the end of the 19th century around silver mines. At an altitude of almost 3,000 meters, the town only has 600 residents. The only business here is the cult of the Wild West. Far from traditional, Chicago, with nearly 3 million inhabitants, situated in Illinois, is the hub of the entire American rail industry. Right in the city center, amidst the skyscrapers, is the bustling Union Station. It is the country's third largest station, built almost 100 years ago. Today, 30 million passengers pass through here every year. Travelers of all social classes, ages, and religions use this station, including groups like the Amish, a Christian community that rejects modernity.
We don't drive, so we have to find different ways to travel.
It's about our religion, and yeah, we take horse and buggy. About the max we go is about 10 to 15 miles with the horse and buggy.
Well, you guys can just hop in a car and leave whenever you want. We can't. And obviously, we can't go with horse and buggy. So, we take the train.
Yeah.
You ladies know where you're going? You have that kind of where are we going look about you.
305 train?
Yes. Take care, ladies.
Mark Magliari has been working for Amtrak, the American Railroad Company, for 26 years. He's one of the people in charge of the Chicago station. He knows it like the back of his hand.
You can see young and old, you can see all races, you can see people for religious reasons dressed in certain ways. You can see people barely dressed at all if they're going to the concert on the lakefront. So if you want to see what America looks like, come to Chicago and ride our trains. So you can see how Chicago is the hub of most of our nation's trains. Nearly all the trains from the east and nearly all the trains from the west converge here in Chicago.
Much more than a means of transport, trains in the United States have played a major role in uniting the country. In the 19th century, building these thousands of kilometers of track changed everything.
President Lincoln said, during the Civil War, the way to keep the Union together is to build a railroad that united the Union, because California was way out there from the rest of the states. Because of his vision and because of hardworking immigrants, a lot of people discharged from the Civil War or brought in from Ireland or Europe, built the railroad coming out of Omaha, which met there in Utah. So all of our trains are pretty famous.
Today, the United States railways are trying to catch up with their competition. With 30 million passengers on the main lines, they are still a long way behind planes, which carry 700 million Americans every year, and there are around 300 million cars on the roads in the country. However, trains have the advantage of being cheaper and less polluting.
My kids are 38, 40, and 44. They grew up wanting a car as soon as they could get it. And they did. Each of them got a car as soon as they could. A lot of people now don't want to have a car or more cars than one because cars are expensive. People are also looking for options that are more environmentally sustainable. So a lot is going to be happening in the next 10 years. Another reason why I have no plans to retire.
Not everyone sees trains in the same way in the United States. We stop off in the small town of McFarland in Wisconsin, a state on the border with Canada. We're here to meet George Graham and accompany him on his adventures.
That's a shot of it running along. This is Mount Shasta. I've ridden past Mount Shasta numerous times. It's just incredibly beautiful. One of my favorite runs. If I ever know I'm on a last train hop, I think that's what I would do, is ride past Mount Shasta one last time.
At the age of 65, George Graham is no ordinary traveler. He's a train hopper. He hops aboard freight trains.
So we're gonna take what we're given. Man, we had a traffic jam all of a sudden, that's for sure.
He films his exploits and posts them on his YouTube channel.
Riding a freight train is not an easy thing. You know, you're out in the sun, you're out in the wind, it can be really hot, really cold. But when you've managed to get on a train and now you're rolling out on the trip, there's just a feeling, there's an excitement, there's an adrenaline level that I'm sure most people wouldn't have. I'm gonna go see this beautiful, incredible countryside, and some of it is just spectacular. You can't see it any other way.
George is heir to the great American tradition of vagabonds, the train hoppers. They were homeless workers who traveled the United States hiding on freight trains. They made their living working odd jobs they found on their journeys. The phenomenon exploded during the Great Recession of the 1930s.
It's a freedom from responsibility, from obligations. There's no house payment, there's no car payment, there's no insurance, there's none of those things that pile up on us and make life kind of miserable at times. I feel that a little bit, even though I have all these obligations. It's when I'm on the rails, I sort of don't. I'm away from everything, you know, and I'm free. I'm out there all alone.
Now retired, George has had many jobs in his life. He was a plane pilot and a lorry driver. He lives with his wife, Terry, and they have a son named Andrew.
The train hobby, I mean, I think he's crazy. You know, I'm glad that he loves it and enjoys it, but, you know, I have no interest in hopping on a train. It seems dangerous to me.
He was like 10, and I said, hey, you want to hop a train? And he just thought I was insane. It was like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Do you worry when George goes on that?
No, and I tell my friends when they ask me that, like you're asking me, I would worry more if he didn't do it for his mental health. He needs to do it. He's driven to do it, and he has a right to do it, and that's how I feel. He's gonna die doing something he loves, and that's how I look at it. I never worry about it. I never worry about it.
Freight trains account for 80% of all rail traffic in the United States. They carry almost half of the country's goods, and they can be several kilometers long. Today, George is going to embark on a journey.
Get down here.
He's been a train hopper for 50 years. He has his equipment always ready. In his rucksack, he's got a mattress, warm clothes, and food for a week.
It's a place where the trains stop to let other trains pass and also to do crew changes. So it makes a good spot.
Unlike his predecessors of the 1930s, Graham is equipped with the latest technology for choosing the ideal carriage.
So this is a scanner, and I am going to set it to scan the railroad frequency band. And generally speaking, all you got to do is set this to listen on those bands, and we should catch any chatter. So it just sits here and listens.
He's waiting for a train going in the right direction to be announced.
But we've got a ride if we want it, so. We're probably gonna go after this train gets past, so kind of hurry along here.
After 15 minutes waiting for the right train, George begins his illegal journey, taking all the risks that it entails. If he gets caught, he has to pay a fine.
All right. This little crank moves, but not enough to worry about, so I'll give you that spot on that side. Now here's the deal. You have to look ahead, so if we see a crossing or something like that, you gotta just duck down a little bit. You know, get down about like this, if possible. People call the police sometimes and let the railroad know if somebody's riding on the trains. It's fairly rare that people notice you on a greener anyway, but it can happen. So first time on a freight train for you probably, huh?
The train travels at a speed between 50 and 70 kilometers per hour. It is raining and extremely noisy. However, it takes more than that to spoil George's fun.
Never think of this as being fun. You know, it's too hard a way to travel for most people. But for me, man, this is perfect, you know.
After 6 hours on the train, suddenly the adventure gets complicated.
I'm going to listen to make sure that we didn't get called in at that intersection. Yeah, somebody called us in, saw us at one of the crossings and called in. And they said they're going to stop the train because they got a couple of riders. So we want to get off and get away from it, you know, as soon as we can.
The train slows down and finally stops in the middle of nowhere so that the sheriff can move in. George escapes.
Look down the side. Do you see anybody down that way? Okay, let's go.
Let's get up here in these weeds.
George keeps a low profile. For 3 hours, 4 sheriff's cars equipped with drones will search for him.
The dispatcher said, understand there were no trespassers found on the train. He said, you're clear to proceed north from where you're sitting. So yeah, we bailed at just the right time. Probably hitchhike up to Fond du Lac and catch the next train out of Fond du Lac, going whichever way I wanted to go, and continue on. I'll keep doing it until the day comes when I just simply don't want to. But right now, that's not today or tomorrow, as near as I can tell. Knock on wood.
We return to the Rockies, the highest mountains in the United States. We're back in Colorado to discover one of the most spectacular trains in the world, the Pikes Peak Cog Railway, which climbs to over 4,300 meters. This is one of the oldest attractions in the country. The railway was built in 1890 to take tourists to the summit of Pikes Peak in both summer and winter. At the time, it was a technological feat to reach this extraordinary viewpoint. A few minutes from the railway line is a palace that was built to accommodate the train's passengers. The Broadmoor, a luxurious hotel with almost 800 rooms, an artificial lake, and a golf course.
Great to have you here. I understand you're coming in to play a little golf with Dad?
Yeah, we'll get out there.
Nice to see you guys. All right, nice to meet you, sir.
Jack Damioli is the manager of both the hotel and the train, both owned by an American billionaire.
We've always believed that the Broadmoor is really kind of the gateway to the American West. Yes, we have our own railroad. Yes, we have 5,000 acres of this beautiful, beautiful campus that we're on. But really, you know, the American West is one of those warm, welcoming places that it's casual, but yet there's an elegance, and I think everybody would feel comfortable here.
The Broadmoor was built in 1918, and it became famous during the Prohibition period. In the 1920s, the law prohibited the sale of alcohol in the United States.
Hello, please, after you.
But here, thanks to this train,
Hi there.
the owner brought in a lot of alcohol just before the ban, and he let the whiskey flow.
So this is Bottle Alley. So Bottle Alley was a collection of Mr. Penrose's liquor that was served here during Prohibition. He had railroad cars full of liquor that he stockpiled before Prohibition took place. And he anticipated it coming, and he adamantly fought against Prohibition each and every day while Prohibition existed.
The luxury at the Broadmoor Hotel also has a French touch. Café Julie is a patisserie run by a chef from Bordeaux. Franck Labasse has been living in the United States for 14 years.
Donc là, on a des kouign-amann, recette comme en Bretagne avec le sucre au laminoir. Ça marche, ça, le kouign-amann ? Oui, ça marche très très bien. On va aller dans la droite. À droite, c'est les entrailles de l'hôtel.
For the past 2 years, Franck Labasse has been at the head of a team of 55 pastry chefs and bakers.
Hello, everybody.
Today, he'll be supervising his new creation.
We do. Oh, look at that. On est en train de travailler sur un nouveau style de croissant. C'est à la mode en ce moment. Ce sont des croissants en cercle, cuits dans des moules. C'est pas évident à faire. Mais on a travaillé dessus, ça fait plusieurs fois, et là on est en train de les terminer. Vous arrivez juste au bon moment parce qu'elle est en train de préparer le testing. C'est un croissant qui est garni et qui, regardez comment elle fait. Elle est en train de mettre le glaçage dessus. Mais c'est pas évident à faire ça hein, pour que ce soit parfait. You match your glasses.
This pink croissant will sell for €7.
C'est très bon. C'est bon.
At the hotel, the train is never far away.
Quand on a des VIP, il leur faut des petits décors spécifiques. Et on a un décor sur le train.
About 10 minutes from the hotel is the small town of Manitou. The train departs from here. The tracks and carriages were renovated for €100 million. In the rail yard, a team of mechanics is doing maintenance of the train. Among them is 23-year-old Bree.
This is not a common train, right?
No, it's not. That's a big reason why I like working here. These are extremely unique, especially diesel hydraulics. There's only about a handful of them left running. Plus, these trains go through extreme temperatures, so they're awesome. Sounds good. There you go. 2 years that I've worked here, and I've never once chipped a nail. I like to stay fashionable.
Depending on the season, the train runs between 5 and 8 round trips daily.
Hi guys, got your barcodes for me there? Good morning. Just you?
The train carries around 260 passengers.
Who's got a barcode? Come on up, let's get you scanned in here. Okay.
The average price per person is €70 for a return ticket.
Welcome aboard. Come on in. Welcome aboard. Hi guys. 3 of you today?
Ron is a retired teacher, yet he works on this train full-time. It's his life's passion. Today, he'll be both ticket inspector and tourist guide.
You ready for a train ride?
We are.
Good, good, good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're down to about 5 minutes before departure. And at this point, I'd like to do my quick safety briefing with you. Refers to this aisleway that runs the full length of the train. This is called the conductor's aisle because only me, the conductor, should ever be standing in this aisle while the train is in motion. Folks, this monstrous train weighs 110 tons before you even get on board. And it can stop on the steepest slopes in 3 seconds. That means you're going to know exactly what it feels like to fly if you're standing in that aisleway. JC, you can close and lock the doors. Actually, it is time for us to go. And once again, welcome aboard the Broadmoor's Manitoulin Pikes Peak Cog Railway.
The climb up the Cog Railway will take an hour and 15 minutes.
We've been running this railway for 133 years. And we're going all the way to the top. Right now, we're going to be going up about an extra 7,600 feet from where we are right now, which is basically about 1.5 miles straight up from where we are right now. So everybody, enjoy the ride.
As the kilometers go by, the slope gets steeper and steeper.
See, the road is very steep, so what's
Oh, it's not even steep yet. Wait for it. This is only maybe a 20% grade.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about to go up a 24% grade, and then we'll get on 25, and I believe our last hill before the summit is even steeper. Everybody keeps telling me it's 25% grade. I don't know, walking up and down these things, it doesn't feel like it to me. It feels like it's steeper. Hi guys, anybody got questions for me here real quick?
Why is your train red?
Because the Swiss made it. They like red.
They do.
They chose the color. It's red.
Do you like being on the train?
I love being on the train.
Okay, here it comes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, way out on that horizon, there's a wonderful place out there that we can see, Kansas. Apparently, Kansas has come along with us today.
The last few kilometers of the ascent are the most impressive.
Right now, we're at an elevation of just about 11,500 feet. This is the point where your average everyday tree just can't grow anymore.
At this altitude, our bodies can start to suffer.
Oh, it's air to breathe, oxygen. I brought it just in case if I can't breathe. Yeah, it's like an inhaler.
In this lunar-like setting, passengers can sometimes see unexpected things.
There's a bear up there.
That's so cool.
There's a bear and her 2 cubs in the distance. This is the final climb. The train arrives at 4,300 meters above sea level, a little less than the altitude of Mont Blanc.
Hey, give yourself a round of applause. We're here, we're on the summit of Pikes Peak. Come summit, everybody. Beautiful day up here today. Wow. Welcome to Summit, everybody. Welcome to Summit.
Hi, thank you.
Where else are you going to get to take a train to the top of a 14,000-foot mountain? Where else are you going to get to do that? It's fun.
For 45 minutes, the passengers enjoy the exceptional landscape.
Very windy.
There's a breathtaking 360-degree panorama that offers an astonishing view of the American West. While some millionaires in the United States buy a yacht or a jet, others like Jean-Paul DeJoria treat themselves to exceptional trains.
Let's go on board here. And it's such a beautiful day today, too, isn't it? Look at that, huh? Nice.
This California businessman made his fortune in cosmetics and tequila. A railway enthusiast, He welcomes us aboard his jewel, the Patron Tequila Express, which dates back to 1927.
Let me give you a tour. You can start looking at the quality of this carved wood. They're beautiful. And this is also a movie theater. Check this out. If we do this, it becomes a movie theater. And then if we come down this way, down the hallway, come on down, beautiful, nice hallway, we have all of our suites. And they're all personal, like ding dong, oh, come on in, nobody's here. You can see, same thing, the detail we pay attention to, the hand embroidery that we have on the walls here. And you know, see, these are very roomy, there's a lot of room. Someone's on top, someone's on the bottom. And now we go to the master suite. Aha, the piece de resistance. This is the master suite. We have 17th century paintings here. It's truly a master suite. And then if we come this way, come check out the dining room.
Since he bought this carriage 30 years ago, Jean-Paul DeGioia has spent 2 million euros to make it the most luxurious train in the United States.
So here we have the kitchen. As you can see, it's a very modern kitchen with everything you can imagine. It is an expensive toy, but it's well worth it. It's well worth it. You see America from its roots, because trains were our form of transportation for so many years until jets were invented and other planes. So it gives you that feeling of the Old West. My favorite place is right here. I like to sit here, I look out both sides, and you see America go by.
There are 170 privileged people like Jean-Paul DeGioia in the United States who own their own train. They regularly get together to travel. For example, during the Indian summer in Vermont, a state situated in the northeast of the country, on this autumn day, a private train is on the move. There are 9 luxury carriages, all owned by millionaires.
We're going to look at all the beautiful fall foliage, and then we'll eat and eat again and eat some more.
Cheers.
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 A week spent in 5-star luxury. Rooms with every comfort, impeccable cuisine, and all of it supervised by uniformed staff.
There's a way to do this. That's one way to make the napkin stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
All ready. Oh, that is perfect.
For the owners of these exceptional trains, every detail counts.
I am tempted to clean those windows if that doesn't annoy anybody. So I'm going to go do that right now.
Bill Gray has been the proud owner of the Blue Ridge Club since 2021. It is a train built in 1950. It's not just a hobby for the millionaire, it's also a great source of income.
We want clean windows because customers are paying a very reasonable amount to ride the car, and I want to make sure the windows are clean. About $27,000 per bedroom. Yes, oh yes, it is.
On board are cooks, waitresses, drivers, and mechanics. There are about 50 of them in total.
Between each dish, we always put a pad so that we don't break our dishes. And all cabinets locked. No dishes going fine.
The elderly and wealthy customers enjoy Vermont at a speed of 60 kilometers an hour. They're going to spend a week like this. The unique American trains are not just a public service, but also serve as a business. Some people have even turned it into a large-scale business, as here in Candor, North Carolina. In this massive rail yard, workers are busy refurbishing the jewels of the American railways. Once refurbished, each carriage is worth between 500,000 and 5 million euros. 77-year-old Robert Menzies is the CEO of the company. He has become a millionaire nearly 40 years after entering the private train market.
This is a very unique car. There were 6 of these made in 1948 by the Pullman Railway Company. This is the last survivor.
When did you acquire it?
About a year ago. Took us a long time to get it. The easiest part is getting the cars. The hardest part, next hardest part is moving them, because some move by rail, some have to move by trucks. After you get them moved, that's the next most expensive part. Then the restoration is by far the most expensive. They call this a skytop lounge because of the sky, and when you're going through the mountains, it was beautiful, or you could look up and see the cliffs coming straight down. It's very expensive. Welcome aboard the Roamer. This car was equivalent to a Gulfstream or Learjet of today. It was a nice marble shower for those days in 1918. We will take it out on special trips, but it's sort of the pride of our fleet, so we baby it. It's a babied car.
Robert Menzies can now count on his daughter Jennifer and son Anthony to help him with his business.
I know we're looking at Queen City.
The origin of his fortune is displayed on the wall. Robert Menzies owns 225 kilometers of railway tracks.
When they deregulated the railroad industry in 1980, the big railroads were allowed to spin off a lot of branches that they either abandoned them and scrapped them, or they spun them off to small railroads. This railroad was owned by an individual, so I had the opportunity to buy this from this individual. Then later, about 4 years later, Norfolk Southern sold me this track.
Robert Menzies earns his money by leasing these private railways to freight train companies that use his network. The family business is responsible for the safety of the trains. It's up to them to maintain the sleepers. This is Anthony's job. He is the boss's son, and he looks after the entire network. Maintaining the 225 kilometers of track is a never-ending job.
You can see, this is what it looks like coming out. We're constantly, reevaluating where we need to put in new ties. So to go 25 miles an hour, you have to have a certain number of good ties for every bad tie. We know we're not going to replace all the bad ties at once.
The beginning of America in the 19th century.
Yeah, except they were constructing new track and meeting in the middle.
Robert Menzies' company has a private network and also private trains. Around 20 locomotives are leased to freight companies.
We try and keep them look nice for our own satisfaction. It costs money, yes, I realize it, but I don't have a Wall Street say, hey, why are you wasting money painting them? Because it's me. It makes a huge advantage.
After a difficult start in the 80s and 90s, his business became very profitable. The company's future is assured for generations to come.
By reinvesting, I've got a successful railroad. Without that, I wouldn't have had a successful railroad.
If you don't have strong infrastructure, you don't have a railroad.
Everything in the railroad business starts from your base up. And if you don't have a strong foundation, you have nothing.
Right? Like, he gets offers weekly for this railroad because people do see this road as a gem. What he has done to this railroad, again, building it from the ground up, everyone wants this railroad.
Did they ask for a number already? Did they pronounce a number?
That's kind of a secret. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
We continue our journey to California, the last stretch of our trip. Leaving Chicago the day before, the Zephyr arrived at Denver Station in Colorado. It's an early morning, and we have a 45-minute stop to stretch our legs.
So we've been on the train for, what, 17 hours?
Yeah.
And Denver, this is where it starts, the more scenic part of the Zephyr.
Yeah. I think we're going to go up the Rockies today. go back down into Utah, and then you'll get the Sierra Nevadas going through California there.
All aboard! All right, here we go. You gonna hop on here?
That's that. We're on a schedule, and if you don't keep to that schedule, it messes up everything.
Leaving Denver, the Zephyr is at the halfway point of the journey. It is another 2,000 kilometers to reach California. 24 hours after departure, the passengers feel right at home, like Pierre and Solange, a couple from Montreal, Quebec. They intend to enjoy this new world.
Lunch.
Can I get you one soda or drinks?
Drinks? What kind of drinks? Gin tonics.
You want a gin and tonic?
Yeah.
You know we charge for that, correct?
Yeah, I know.
How about yourself?
The menu remains the same for the whole trip.
Thank you.
Burgers, sandwiches, and also vegetarian options.
Un cheeseburger.
Et ça arrive vite, hein. Je crois que je vais le manger, ton chili.
Ouais, c'est la bon, hein?
Every year, the couple treat themselves to an original trip. Last winter, it was a cruise in the Caribbean. This year, they've opted for a train like no other.
On avait décidé de le faire parce que j'avais lu un article dans une revue touristique qui vantait la beauté des paysages, le plaisir de voyager en train. C'était une expérience que je voulais vivre. C'est magnifique.
Chanceux d'avoir la luminosité, les feuilles d'automne, la coloration, le soleil. Nous, c'est triste là maintenant, à Montréal.
À Montréal, oui, il pleut.
Il pleut, c'est gris.
Oui. Puis on prend le temps de vivre ce moment-là.
Attends, on va attendre parce qu'en fait, il y a 27 tunnels.
Ah oui.
OK.
Campsite off to your left-hand side. This is Rancho Del Rio off to your left-hand side.
For the last 24 hours, the Zephyr crosses Utah and then the Nevada desert. One incredible scene after another flashes before the passengers' eyes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from the KSA Academy. Hope you had a really nice trip. We're running really well. Have a great night in Martinez, Richmond, Oakland, and San Francisco, or whatever your final destination.
After a 52-hour journey, the plains of California are the last view of this crossing of the Great West. Just before arriving in San Francisco Bay, the terminus of our American adventure, Janelle's crew gather for a photo to remember it by.